dog tags on in honor of the armed forces.
I was making weird noises.
Now he's got plenty of cash, plenty of friends, drives women wild, and then he drives off in a Mercedes Benz. He's got a long whip with a flaming for Benz. He's hot, but don't let him go. Just give him a chance to go. Take it easy, take it slow.
Dave Amato, and he plays guitar for the band Reo Speedwagon. So,
Yes.
Dave, would you please tell us this beautiful setup that you have?
I use Marshall amplifiers, exclusively endorsement-wise. All those heads are 100-watt Marshalls with these like Jimi Hendrix type 60s cabinets. You know, they've all been redone to look like Hendrix stuff, and because I like to go vintage. I'm a vintage guy. This stuff is all like echoes and reverbs and all processing equipment, big rack of processors, and this is my spare rack in case that one goes down. You always have to have spares. I like a lot of spares.
Okay, spares are good.
Spares are good. And that's just a B rig, and that's my wireless, all the wireless equipment in there.
Okay.
And everything AC-wise plugs into that on the bottom, and it's like a conditioner, so it doesn't have any static. Although I heard static just a minute ago.
No,
Huh?
so did
I
I.
don't know.
It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me.
It was her. Every time she touches my stuff, it blows up. These two are the main two heads right here that power, like this top one powers this cabinet, and
okay.
that one powers this cabinet over here. And the two on the bottom are just spares in case that, you know, I always have a spare rig.
So your guitar tech has a huge job.
Yeah, where is he? Yeah.
Where's
yeah.
Kevin?
Oh, yeah,
He's
Kevin's
around
around.
here
Yeah.
somewhere.
Oh, yeah, he's hiding.
Now, this is not a guitar store. This is solely
no,
your
yeah.
guitars.
My wife calls it a guitar store, yeah.
Tell us what we have here.
Well, these are all reissue Les Paul historic collections from Gibson. they're like replicas of the real 50s guitars, and they just make them great now. And I do have 50s at home, the real ones at home, but they're just too expensive, or they might get stolen or something like that. So I don't want to take them out. So, but these are just awesome guitars, and Gibson's are making some really great stuff.
Now, what is the difference of the sound in them? Like, what makes you use one over the other?
I don't know. It's just like a car or something. You just got to get in, drive it. It's just a feel of it. They're all a little different. There's none that's alike. In some of the old REO songs, I have to match, from Gary, the old guitar player, and it's just I have certain songs I use this on because it matches it better, and then I use this, and this is a little fun toy, a little wang bar here, and just some stuff. It kind of makes the strings loosen, so it dips it.
Did you hear that? I heard that.
Yeah, it kind of dips it. Well, you can put the mic there. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So-
So what song do you use that on?
Well, that's kind of a play toy. I don't know. I just use that on the encore for fun. Give me the fun one.
Okay, very cool.
So-
Now, were these made for you, or did you buy these?
Some were. This one was just picked out for me. No, I didn't really order these special, but some were picked out by the factory.
And now, what's over here?
These are Fender, and the same thing. It's kind of like copies of the old 50s ones, and what they do for me is, well, they do it for everybody too, but they kind of make me special. They beat them up so they look like old. So Neil Dowdy says, you pay more for these if you beat them up. He says, that doesn't make any sense. That one goes to 11, yes. That one's, you turn it and goes to 11. It's louder than the rest. Right.
Now, this has more strings on it.
Yeah, this is a double neck, so we do a song like...
Oh, it's a double guitar. I didn't even see
like
that.
Building the
Hidden.
Bridge, one off our realm. So it's just double stringed. It just makes it a little bit, nicer. So, I use like half the song with the top, and then on the solo I need a 6-string, so I just click the switch down and I use it.
Now, was this made for you, or do they make these like
This was made for me, yes. This is a custom, they don't make them in black, but I ordered this in black. This was specially made.
This is Gibson.
Yes, this is Gibson again, yeah.
Okay. What guitar would you recommend for someone starting out playing?
Well, Fender's making some nice, reasonable stuff for kids now. I wish when I was a kid they made stuff like that too. And even Gibson makes like Epiphone, a little more inexpensive model, but you can get the same look and everything like that.
And what kind of amp would you recommend for them?
Oh, I like Marshalls myself.
What age did you start playing?
8. My cousin started guitar, but I guess he didn't like it or something like that, and so I borrowed it and I started playing, and ever since I've been playing.
Now, did you play by ear, or did you learn to play with?
I took lessons for the first 2 years, or two or 3 years. You have to practice. I mean, now looking back, I probably should even, stuck with it even more. As you get older, you realize, but you just get impatient when you're young. I just want to start a band. I just want to play. You don't want to take lessons because you have to sit down and play all the time. But I think as you get older, you realize, well, maybe I should have probably stuck with it more. So I would say that the kids, even though it's a little boring, maybe boring, but you need it. It's good. I've actually gone back and taken some lessons since off and on, and vocal lessons. I know Kevin does too. Which really helps out a lot.
So, and you still do that till today?
Yes. Guitar lessons, not so much lately, but vocal lessons, yes. You know, sometimes you get into a little jam. Oh, what am I doing wrong? You know, so you go back to your teacher and take some lessons, and it's good. It's really good for you.
Does you ever get a block when you're playing guitar? Like you ever get like?
Oh yeah, sure. Sometimes you see black if we learn. Oh, like today maybe. we're learning some new songs of all days to come.
No, this is perfect. They get to see how you react.
You know, we're working out some stuff, and yesterday you go, what was that change? Where we go from here?
Yeah, totally. That's great, Max.
So they're real people. You know, they have mistakes. They're not just perfect all the time.
All right.
Now these guitar picks are unusually thin.
Yes.
Can you tell me about these?
Those are Ernie balls. I just like them thin. I actually stole some from Eddie Van Halen one time, and I really liked. I put them on my mic stand one night. And I was using heavies, and I took these out and I put them on there, and I said, "Oh my God, these are awesome." So
What's the difference in the?
I just like them because they slap more. They sound a little bit thicker than the heavy ones are. Kind of like sharp or something. They're too like grating. So these give a little bit. So I like the way they feel better.
Okay.
And I turned Kevin onto them. Kevin plays the same ones too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And now I see you have the website. You guys have to check out Dave's website. You can see all of his guitars there. It's www.daveamato.com. And you can see all of his guitars, and you could see his rig setup, like is mapped out for you on there, which I thought was the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's all the wiring and what goes where. And did you put a scratch on my guitar? By the way?
No, it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. Uh-oh, that was the one I touched.
Is that one it? No? See, I knew that.
Just give him a chance to grow. Take it easy, take it slow. And don't let it go. Don't let it go.
All right, let's get this party going here. Bruce Hall right here is getting ready to sing this next song for you. He comes all the way from Champaign, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome my good buddy Bruce Hall. Come on.
This is Bruce Hall. He is the bass player for the band Reo Speedwagon.
Correct.
And tell us about your stuff.
My stuff. Well, this is my speaker setup. As you can see, it's made by a company called Trace Elliott. I use two 410 cabinets, that's these, and two 15 cabinets. The 410s are a smaller speaker, and they produced a tighter sound, but they don't get as much low definition as a bigger speaker. This is kind of like what if you had a car stereo and you hear the woofer, like that comes out of big speakers like 15s, like that. I mean, you could produce it out of 10s, but it's not as efficient as the 15s. And also, I have a tweeter. There's like what they call a little tweeter horn, which is for the really supersonic highs, but usually don't need to turn that up much with bass guitar because not a lot of supersonic highs happening. This is our wireless units, what we use for, instead of cords in between our guitars and our amplifiers, is we use these. And these are little receiving antennas, selector switches for different guitars. Like I have like 4 different basses that I can choose from. And this buttons choose, depending which one I have on, you just push the button and the receiver, turn on the receiver and it picks it up. I could go down the block if I wanted to. This is my main amplifier. These are Trace Elliott GP12s. And I use this one most of the time. This is a backup. And then I have a backup to my backup.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, just in case, like on the road, if one of them breaks, then I have this one. I have another one to back up the one that's broken. And just in case I don't get this one back from repairs in time to get it back in, and something goes wrong with this one, then I got another one to back up the one that, so there's always 2.
Where are your bass? Where are they?
My bass?
Yeah. Let's go this way.
This is my main bass.
Okay.
This is my old bass that I grew up with, this bass.
Really?
Yeah, I played this bass before I was even in Reo Speedwagon.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And she was retired for a while, and then I drug her out of the mothballs, and
Do you know how much Dave pays to get,
I know,
to get
he
his guitars
does.
to look this way?
I know. I took this down to the Fender shop where they customized this look. It's called Relic, but this isn't Relic. This is real.
It's real.
But
And this is a Fender?
it's a Fender jazz bass. I call it Butter. This is Butter. Butter bass. She's a beauty. I put on a new bridge and some active pickups, so active electronics, and that's about it. She's about the same as she was when she first came around.
And that's
Anyway,
your favorite one to play?
That's my favorite. This bass, my precision bass. Yeah, isn't that pretty? I use this in one song. And the reason I use this on one song is because it's tuned down a full step. It's tuned to the low string is a D.
And what song is that?
Time for Me to Fly.
So when you make the set list, are you conscious?
Oh, sure.
You're like, oh no, I have to change back.
Well, Time for Me to Fly, and it's usually always in the set. So this bass always has to be around for that one song. Then I just give it back.
And then you give it back.
This is one of my favorites because it was like, it's from the Fender Custom Shop. It's got a little custom shop emblem up here. And it's a replica of a 1952 precision bass. It's a beauty. Blondie, that's Blondie.
He's named all his basses.
Yep. And last but not least, this is my 5-string. And this is kind of like my most recent one because it is, I only play this on one song too.
Oh, really?
On Building the Bridge, one song. And
what differentiates the sound?
it has a low B. This is like, on most basses, on the 4-string bass, the lowest string is an E. And I have the E here too.
Okay.
There's the E string. But then on a 5-string, you have a low B, and it just rumbles. In fact, if you look at it, you see look how. So it really puts out a really, really low tone. But it's a beauty too.
And how old were you when you first started to play?
I was 13,
13?
and I'm over 13 now. During the early days of like when we were growing up, it seems like everyone I know, Neil, Dave, Brian, Kevin, and a lot of other musicians, we all were just mesmerized by the Beatles and being on the Ed Sullivan Show, and we all got to see this when we were like very impressionable, about 10, 11, 12, something like that. So we all became big, huge Beatle fans, and everybody wanted to do exactly what they did. So that's kind of where it started.
Okay.
At first, to be a musician, especially a guitar player, there's pain involved in the beginning. There is. You have to get calluses on the end of your fingers, and the only way to get that is you have to practice a lot. And the first thing that happens is you get blisters, and then they have a tendency to like pop. It gets kind of messy. But you just keep working at them, and you just try to play through the pain, and eventually your fingers start learning how to do chords, and you start learning how to do scales and things like this. And you'd be surprised because if you're lucky enough, you'll find some other kids that are like the same age as yourself. Next thing you know, you got a band.
Back on the road again. Back on the road again. Back on the road again. I'm back on the road again. Woo! Back on the road again. Back on the road.
Why the bass?
Because Paul McCartney.
Really?
Paul McCartney,
Oh,
he was like
really?
my favorite
Oh,
at the
wow.
time. And also my first band needed a bass player because I
Cool
learned
baby.
how to play guitar first,
Uh-huh.
but we needed a bass player. So, I was kind of big with big hands, so I could do that.
Now, when you first started to play, did you read music at all, or you just by ear, were playing by ear?
Just by ear. But I have to say my mom is a really good singer, always singing. And when I was growing up, and my father was, he still plays a lot. He plays saxophone, clarinet. Both of them are very good too. So we always had music in the family. It was difficult at first, but now it's like such a dream fulfilled. We've been at this Reo Speedwagon for over 30 years.
I know.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky.
And I remember all the ballad songs that came out, and they really touch you and put you in a place. And
I know, we're lucky enough that we hear about it all the time. Like they played our song at their wedding, or they've had it at their prom or something. So it's kind of like, that's really nice when people tell us that and fell in love to it.
Yeah.
It's like their song. It's great. It's awesome, really. It's actually very
Have you ever met Paul McCartney?
No.
No.
Darn it. Dave just met him, though, the other day.
Oh, did he really?
He got lucky enough to
you're
meet him. It
kidding.
was a fluke accident.
He didn't call you?
He called me after it was over.
Well, gee, thanks, Dave.
That's what I
We're
say.
gonna have to get him for that later. If you ever had the opportunity to play with him, would that intimidate you at all, you think?
Oh, yeah. I probably would forget how to play. Because he's like, in my book, he's like, the best there ever was. But
Yeah. Well, you're not so bad yourself.
well, thank you very much.
Makes you so angry, makes you so